Hey everyone, Benz95, and I'm back with a new video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you my recent record store finds from past couple weeks. What I have to show you is about 6 LPs, and I'm also going to show you a couple CDs that I got just the other day. So without further ado, let's begin the video. First album is by Bebop Deluxe. This is Drastic Plastic. This is a great album. It's not their best album. Like in many people's minds, it's not their best. Well, in terms of critics, really. But in my opinion, like I think this is just really good, like art rock new wave music. This came right around the time that new wave was really making a mark on the music scene, and they were very big, a very influential band on the new wave scene. Like they influenced a lot of new wave bands and artists. They're technically labeled as an art rock band, but on this album, like they sound so much like the Cars, it's ridiculous. Um, songs like uh, songs like Love in Flames, Panic in the World, which is a very fine example of a song that sounds like the Cars. Like if you have uh, any opportunity of listening to that song, listen to it and you think, wow, that sounds like the Cars. Um, and Super Enigmatics and Islands of the Dead, or Islands of the Dead, um, are other really good songs off this album. But yeah, I really dig their music. This is my third album by Bebop Deluxe, and I'm hoping to get the other albums just to kind of fill in the gaps. So yeah, really happy to have this. Next is by Kansas. This is their self-titled debut album. And this is not their best album. It's not their strongest either. They didn't quite find their sound yet. They were just starting off, obviously, and they were just a band that just didn't quite find that sound that made them famous. With the songs "Carry On, Wayward Son," and "Dust in the Wind." Uh, those are the songs that made them famous. On this album, they basically are your typical progressive rock. This is your typical progressive rock to be found on this. But the thing is that it's more boogie rock oriented in most places. So like it just kind of it kind of loses itself. In places like it doesn't feel like it's balanced out enough. Like it seems lost. That's, I guess, the best way of putting it. It just isn't a Kansas album yet. They haven't matured. It's still a good album. It's still listenable, nonetheless. So it's a nice find. Next is by Robin Trower. This is Bridge of Sighs. Of course, this is his best or most well-known album. The title track, just brilliant. And of course, another great song on here is About to Begin. The vocalist on this is really good. He's got this Paul Rogers-esque tone in his voice, and it's just really good. Just a classic blues rock, hard rock album. From beginning to end, and I really enjoy this album. Next is by Red Rockers. This is Good as Gold. Red Rockers are like a punk new wave band from the 1980s. Not well known to a lot of people, but I heard about them through the song China. That's their most well known song off this album. It's a great song, and that's the reason why I bought this. I heard it on this app that's no longer around. It's called Songza, and it was around for a few years, I guess. And next thing you know, it became I think it became Google Play Music, if I'm not mistaken. And I was just not happy with the fact that they changed that whole thing. And I basically withdrew my subscription to Songza, or I basically decided to delete the app, and I deleted that app. I didn't want any part of Google Play Music. But anyways, back to this record. Um, this is really good stuff. Some really good music aside from their most well-known song China. Some really good punk new wave tunes on here. And this is very much like a diamond in the rough. I only found this for like $1 in the dollar bin, so really happy to have come across this one. Really good shape. Next is the classic by Peter Gabriel, So. And this one includes, many of his big hits like Red Rain, Sledgehammer, Don't Give Up, which was a song that he did a duet with Kate Bush. In Your Eyes, which was a song that was featured in the film Say Anything with John Cusack. And Big Time, which is a song I really, really, really dig. That song I really enjoy. That's the song I like the most of all the big hits that were featured on this album. But yeah, and this was produced by Daniel Lanois, who was the one who produced in collaboration with U2, or he produced U2 in collaboration with Brian Eno. He also worked with Brian Eno on an album, I believe Apollo Atmospheres, and not whatever you call that album, I forget, Apollo. That's basically what I'll call it. But yeah, he worked with Brian Eno, and he also produced Robbie Robertson, and he also worked with, or he also did an album himself in the 1980s. He's a musician as well, so he's not only a producer, but he's also a musician. So happy to finally get this record. Peter Gabriel's a very talented solo artist, and I'm hoping to get his albums. He did Peter Gabriel 1, 2, and 3, and Security, just to kind of round out his album discography. Well, I mean, I'll get whatever I can manage from him. And finally, we have this album was the last thing that I found when I was at the record store, and I was just blown away when I came across this. I was so ecstatic because I had wondered if I would ever find this record, and I managed to find it, and I was just absolutely blown away. This is Kingdom Come, their self-titled debut album. And what can I say? This is some really good 80s metal, hair metal, glam metal. I mean, that type of thing, doesn't quite, I'm not quite sold on that type of metal music, but there are certain bands out there that really know how to rock in that, genre of metal. For example, Whitesnake is one of them. But this band are like German Zeppelin. Like, this is just phenomenal music. Lead singer Lenny Wolf he brings out his inner Robert Plant, in the way he sings, and songs like Get It On, which I really, really, really dig. That song is just fantastic. That song sounds like Kashmir, or like if it was like, if Kashmir was done in like a different tuning, it sounds just like Kashmir, but just in a different way, kind of inside out, in a silly way of describing it. Like it just such a great song. Another great song on here is Loving You. It's very like folk oriented Zeppelin, and yeah, there's some really good songs on here. And this was produced by Bob Rock, which I actually didn't know he produced this album, but yeah. So I'm really happy to finally get this record. This is just great stuff. And on to the CDs. First CD I'm going to show you is by Gentle Giant. This is Acquiring the Taste. This back upside down. Happy to finally get something from Gentle Giant on CD. Great progressive rock band, of course, you know. And then next we have Camel, Mirage. Some more great progressive rock music. I believe they were involved with the Canterbury scene. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know there was quite a few bands that were part of that whole Canterbury scene of the progressive rock genre, including Caravan. I just felt like getting these two albums because, you know, I'm looking to really try and get into progressive rock again, and I felt like why not get those two. So that's pretty much my video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll be back again soon to make another video. I'm thinking of probably doing a video talking about a couple documentaries that I watched recently, and kind of give a little bit of a review. I might do one video on one documentary, and then I'll follow it up with another video on another, so that I don't have to kind of make it a real long video. And so I'm gonna work out the idea, work out the kinks, or maybe not work out the kinks, but just kind of work on it and kind of plan it out. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.